16th, 1984. And we just have been watching some of the recordings that our good friend George Ogg has been making of the Climax Jazz Band. We also looked at some shows we did in 1973. So rather than just watching all night shows, it would be nice to do a little bit of active, how do you call it, performance. Therefore, the game tonight is that I'm going to interview somebody who's going to sit over here in a minute. Now he's not there yet, and then he's going to interview somebody else, and these are all people who know the Climax Jazz Band for years, and it will be interesting, hopefully, what their reaction is. So the first man I would like to ask to come up is of course Chris Daniels. Where are you? Your chair is right here. He is here. Hey. Yeah. Okay. Chris.
It's the 17th, by the way.
Oh. Okay, I'm always a little bit late. But what was it that made you decide to start a band like the Climax Jazz Band?
I was lonely and needed friends. I didn't know what I was getting into, did I? No, I thought I'd do something with myself in the evenings rather than play with myself, and I met all these layabouts and I missed it. You know how you miss it after a few months?
No.
Well, I hadn't played for a long time when I came to Toronto, and it was London, England, Putney, and I got my bass on the Canadian Pacific ship.
The same bass?
Wrapped up in, yes indeed sir. Yes, the one my dad paid 5 guineas for. And I'd got it on the Canadian Pacific ship. I used to go down to Grossman's Tavern every Saturday afternoon with Bob Wright.
In 1968?
71.
Oh.
And I met all these musicians or friends of musicians who said that they hadn't played for years. There's nowhere else to play but Grossman's, and there was no place around, and they were really miserable. My bass arrived and I said, okay, let's start a band. Let's have a rehearsal. And they all said, oh, if you can't reach me at this number, I'll be, you know, Jeffrey Holmes. I met through somebody I met on a train going to Montreal once. Jürgen Hesse, no, it was Jack Vinken actually was going to be playing the bass, but he didn't fancy the idea because he didn't think it would work out. He brought Jürgen along, and knew of 3 chords, or 4 or 5.
At the time, that was all he knew?
And we began the band with Bob Wright, me, the customs man, what the heck was his name? A memorable lad, anyway. Ron Sullivan.
Ron Sullivan, yeah.
He
the one
played trumpet at the time.
Trumpet, trombone,
we had
harmonica, drums, banjo.
Not harmonica, we're talking about.
No, Ron Sullivan played everything.
Oh, I see. No, well, you're getting me confused now.
No, okay.
All right. So we began and we started practicing the Chimes Blues, and rehearsed it for many, many weeks. Nothing happened. Ron Sullivan found an ad in the Star. It said, wanted one fun pub band, phone Albert. It turned out to be the Brunswick Hotel. We turned up there and there was an Irish show band playing there. And they were not bad. The place had just opened up upstairs. And we went on at 8 o'clock, and his brother Morris was there. And we played our asses off. We were playing as hard as we could, you know. You just saw the old 73 film, you know, all the right feet in rhythm and everything.
Okay, like that. Yeah.
And his brother was in stitches, and he wet himself at the back. Auditioned Monday night before the rest of the other band started.
That was Albert.
No, Morris.
Oh,
Morris is the one who hired us, not Albert. Morris always took the credit for that. 2 brothers owned the Brunswick. He used to pump asphalt, and then they went into pumping beer, same kind of stuff. Anyway, yeah, so he hired us on the spot. The other band quit. They said, we want to play 6 nights a week or nothing. And he said, well, could you play for 6 nights just for 3 weeks, so we'll get another band to play Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for you. And then it went on 3.5 years later, we're still playing 6 nights a week.
Yeah, but then about 2 or 3 months later, what happened? Because Ron Sullivan had some arguments with Dutch clarinet player.
Well, Bob Wright left because he didn't want to play 3 nights a week. He thought it was too much for him. So we got this, well then Ron Sullivan quit one night because we were playing, Saturday night it was, and Ron had a bit of an argument with your friend John Hartman. The
he
Dutch
was
fellow with the big
yeah.
feet and the big hooter, right? And the baggy pants.
Right.
And after about
They
3
went like-
tunes, they had an argument about tuning up. And Ron said, if he doesn't leave, I'm leaving. So we all looked at each other, because Ron was a bit of a problem. This is libel, folks, this is real libel. Anyway, so he put down his cornet, we took his cornet away and took his money and left.
But he was also very sincere, what he wanted to do.
He wanted to be in tune, yeah, I can't blame him for that.
No.
You don't walk off the stage, do you? I mean, you haven't done that lately, have you?
Right, yeah.
So he took his money, and the crowd was amazed. We've been playing there for about 3 months. There were about 50 people in there, and they were horrified, and there was dead silence. And I said, well, don't worry, folks, we'll get another trumpet player. The place is full of trumpet players.
I remember I was there one night and I walked into Brunswick and I was standing at one moment in the washroom. I still remember the washroom. There was this tall guy with the beard,
It's a men's
Jeffrey
washroom, isn't it?
Jeffrey Holmes, yeah.
Yeah.
And he was standing there and he said, hey, why don't you come and join us? And I'm like, oh, maybe, you know. And I played a couple of weeks and that was it.
Well, what happened that Saturday night was that a few of the other lads were going off to gigs, all-night gigs at Banana Factory and places like that.
Yeah.
And after about an hour of trying to phone around and get people, we actually ended up after about half an hour with us with more musicians than we needed. We had 2 trombones, 3 trumpets. It was great. So the people thought it was amazing, and we kept going from there. And we met you at John Harton's joint. Remember that? When his wife poured all the beer down the.
That's when you wanted to start another band, I thought.
No, I don't think so.
That was a whole different thing.
Well, now and again, I always have
Yeah.
that thought in the back of my mind, you know.
Still is.
Chris Daniels, blues brothers and stuff, but
Yeah,
if
right.
necessary. But we got you, and John
Anyway.
Hartman was with us.
When you
before
look back at it, it is now, what, 12 years later?
that. 13.
13 years later.
Yeah.
And some of these guys have left, and we watched this old movie, and I thought it was great. But then when I look back at what's happening today, I think it's good. No, it's nice. So we got some of the guys of today. So
I haven't
why
finished
did you?
yet.
Oh,
No, as far as that's concerned, when we first began, we were not that famous. We were known by a lot of people in Toronto. Then we made our first record,
yeah.
went to New Orleans and came back again. But it occurred to me when we looked at that film, made for Bell Telephone for a pizza and a few beers, for their
Yeah,
internal
that was
uses,
quite
for Joe Gruden. That what we had, I loved the right legs going up and down. And you all sat down in those days.
That's
Much-
it, yeah.
And it's very relaxed, I thought. We should strap you down, I think it's better, you know.
Why did we decide to stand up?
Um,
Because we became more famous?
yeah,
I still like the idea of sitting down.
yeah. Well, you were good when you were strapped up with that.
Yeah,
And that.
yeah.
You didn't move off the stage
I'm more
once.
relaxed when I sit down. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then again, you know.
Yeah. You're all right. You're a bit well, but
Yeah.
So what would you like to do now?
Well, what I would like to do is get Lenny up now and
Good.
You know, ask him a few questions. What he thinks
I
about
haven't asked you any
today.
questions yet. Or did you come at the end?
You know, it's like a thing with
Okay, it's like
goes
the.
from one to another to another to another.
Good.
No. You stay here,
Oh, all right.
right?
Okay.
I leave and Lenny is gonna come up, and then
Keep it rolling.
no, you stay here.
I'm doing a Spike Milligan on this.
Okay, he hopefully he'll be back in a minute. No, you just keep rolling that camera. Lenny.
Yes.
He's in the can, man.
So anyway, no, as we were saying, there's a lot of good stuff in '73. I think we've improved musically. I think we got swelled headed.
Spiritually.
No, not necessarily. We're more of a unit maybe than we were then, but we began falling out. Remember, we fired Craig Barrett, which I thought was a bad mistake, and got Al Myers instead. Then we fired Al, and I was upset about that, because we've gone through a lot of drummers, which is a pity. And I thought then we didn't have as many hang-ups about being world famous and stuff as we have now. But I think we've still got the same spirit in a sense, you know.
No, yeah, I think that we have, but you know, like
Your mum still likes the band anyway.
I
It's
do.
great, he's
I
going to
do.
cut it
I
up
like,
now.
you know, no, he keeps going. Lenny, are you there?
Yeah.
Did you do
Okay,
your
we
fires
get
up
him in the
then?
middle. We get him in the middle.
Oh,
Hang on,
you mean we're all going to have fires or something?
Yeah, no, we got a chair.
Wide angle. First you better explain why Len is wearing a tie.
Yeah.
Well,
I cut you for a second, just for a second, it's okay.
He's wearing his
let's keep going.
It's not running.
wearing a hush puppies, right? After the commercial breaks. here we are,
Yeah,
Ryan Gosling.
Yes, well, good evening all, and yes.
He doesn't need the encouragement.
So who's going to start?
Actually, I should
Who's on
be in it,
first?
because I asked you the very first few questions, so you...
No, let's both pass them.
Okay.
Remember the time at the airport?
It's in stereo. Yeah.
Remember the time at the airport?
What airport?
Toronto airport. One thing that amazes me about this kind of music is what people think about when they're playing solos. Remember that bit?
No, I can't say that there.
Brian Ogilvy was there. And we said, what do you think about when you play a solo? What do you think about when you play a solo? Speak
What
to
do
the
I
camera.
think about when I play a solo?
Yeah. Does your mind go off into sort of strange fantasies or...
No, I try
You
to
don't have
think
to put
of
your
when
hands
we're
on the
gonna...
legs when you're talking about that.
What my next note's going to be.
No, but you told me once that you know exactly what you're going to play. You know exactly where the notes are anyway.
Only,
does
if I
your
don't,
mind-
only if I don't think about it. You know. No, if I try to think about it, then I don't know where they are. If I can
So-
relax and forget it,
And that's
Then
what
I
you do when you play those songs, relax and forget it?
that's when I, yeah, when I do.
So what do you think about it? Nothing.
I just totally relax and let it all come out.
There's a bit of your brain going off by itself, isn't it?
Yeah, the right side.
The right, the one that's the creative part.
The left side or the right
That's
side.
why musicians
Put
come
some
off.
gasoline in
The
it.
creative side and
That's
the,
why musicians come
the
off.
business side cuts off, right?
That's why musicians are notorious when they come off the stage as saying, you know, they're all phased out because their imagination
Well, you can't
takes
talk,
over.
can you?
Think, well, right, amen, and well, that's the thing.
Yeah, but what do you have? You don't have that?
Or I go back to my earliest childhood. In the womb, I used to get there.
Do you?
If it's a good chorus, yeah. And when I'm just playing.
I've
And
never
things
thought
take over, and I'm right there. And my mind goes way away. It's very
No,
odd.
but you
It's
do,
strange. It's a spiritual experience. I
Maybe
think.
we don't remember that far back.
Figures. What would you like?
I'm a
Anyway,
bit the same as Lenny.
do you believe in reincarnation? Because I think I'm going to come back as that mouth breather. I've always enjoyed that sort of thing.
I don't think this is working out too well.
Go on then. What? What are you going to say, Bob?
Well, you take the subject away from what it was all about to begin with. But maybe that's good.
What is it all about?
What is that you think when you play the bass? And you have to play the same. We figured it out once, right? 175,000 notes a night. You enjoy that?
Yeah, it's called discipline. The bass, I think, is a rhythm instrument. It's not a note instrument, really. It's half and half, but I think that the bass's function is to be a major part of the rhythm section. And so
Like
for me,
all-
it can be just as satisfying, not just as satisfying, but almost as, if you play very simply and straightly. And I see a lot of bass players around, not knocking them, who've got brilliant technique, but have no pattern to it. And I was saying to Joanne, Len's better off, just now. When he was playing a solo we heard on Sunday. But what he does is a very classical thing, like Mozart. You know, they
Yeah.
start off with a theme, and he varies it. And Boots start off with a phrase, which he elaborated on. Second chorus, he started with the same phrase, and did another elaboration. And it's all a pattern. It's a whole. You know, it's not like just farting around and playing as many notes as you can. Impressing
Yeah,
people.
no.
What do you do? What do you think about?
I just play, hopefully, as straight as possible a lead. But then again, I get away because I like to play out.
Okay, well, talking about that, what's your most memorable experience with the band?
Maybe Massey Hall and Benny Goodman,
Yeah,
how we could show them off.
that was good, wasn't it?
That was it, yeah.
But
Some of the early tours
When
out of
we-
the country, New Orleans.
when we weren't known, I mean, the first time we went to New Orleans as a band, wasn't that great?
Yeah, yeah.
Remember my most memorable experience is seeing
Never been there.
Yes, the Esplanade Cafe. We're going there. We're going
Yeah.
to take it in April. Esplanade Cafe. It's surrounded by white people, two blacks on the sidewalk, one old, one young. I didn't know what to think about it. I turned around after the third tune, looked at it, and the old fellow
Yeah.
just went like this.
Yeah, I saw that.
That was not great.
Yeah,
That's-
that was
that was-
fantastic.
Anyway, we're talking about Len at the moment.
Actually,
Like my tie.
yeah, you got a new job.
Go on. Then.
Yeah, carry on.
Maybe I should quit for a moment so you can be quietly with Len.
Good
and
idea.
make up as well.
Well, let's ask them.
You're overpowering, you guys talking across me.
Okay, I'll leave for a moment, and then Mick comes to join you and helps you.
Mick's going to come on.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to sit on the end this
Comes to the
time.
band. Len joined, what, 3 years ago?
About 3 years
And
ago.
Mick, what, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
So, when you joined, presumably you thought it was going to be interesting. You thought, well, we'll do a lot of travelling the lines. It's a co-op band, sort of. And, right? How have you found it? I mean, you found it
Found it lived up to all the expectations.
Yeah.
musically?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
That's what I want. Yeah, it's
They're working too hard, are they?
No.
You guys are getting old, aren't you?
No, I ain't getting old.
Getting beautiful.
Getting more mellow. More mellow is what it is.
All right. What do you think? What do you think was the strength of the Climax Jazz Band as a band?
Well, it's all the idiots in it, you know. I mean,
We have something in common. Yeah. All right.
we
Yeah.
get something in common.
Yeah. In common.
But nothing's ever the same. It's,
But
you never know.
Go on.
Shut up at the bar there.
Now, what do you think about? I mean, when we were invited to Sacramento, Edinburgh, Eindhoven, Colorado, we're going to New Orleans, and people think we're the bee's knees. What do you really think? Are we?
Because
did we
we're an
perform better?
entertaining band. We drive.
Louder.
We may not be the most technical musicians in the world, but we've got a sound which some bands strive to get, and I think we've got it. And that's part of the magic of the appeal that we seem to have.
What kind of sound have you got?
Well, I think the band is everybody in the band wants to play the kind of music we're playing, right? And because we do that, we tend to put everything into it. So therefore, it gets more entertaining. It's got more life in it than a band where people don't want to play that kind of music.
But we meet all these people who've been trained in music, been to music school, play on the West Coast particularly, and they're brilliant on their instruments. But what do they lack?
I like the feel.
Well, I can't say this here because it's a rude word. It's
Balls.
called balls.
Yeah, all right. So what do you think we should be doing in the future, Lan, to
Growing big balls.
What do you think we should do? We've been to Scotland, we're going to Holland, we've been to Sacramento, we're going to New Orleans again, we're to Colorado, Boston.
France.
How about Australia?
Australia, that sounds like a good place.
The realistic people.
Yeah, they're kind of a grassroots kind of people. I think they might like this kind of music, right?
I like the rail as well.
There's
Like
a lot of our kind of jazz in Australia.
Okay, let me ask you another tune. What's your favourite tune at the moment, apart from ones you've written?
The ones I've only written one. No,
They wouldn't know, would they?
one of my favourite tunes right now. I like Mood Indigo very much, and I also like East Coast Truck. That's a good one.
What about you, Lennon?
Well, I tell you, I don't really go for favourite tunes. I have certain tunes that I don't like. There are some, I don't have favourites. I like ones that are going well. You know, in other words, certain tunes, some nights, great. Other nights, they're no good. It depends on the mood of the band, the tempo that it happens to pick up, the way the band feels about the tune that particular night. You know, so I can't really...
What about Saturday Night Funkin'? That's my favourite at the moment. You arranged it.
Well, I like it, yeah, I do like it.
How about the phenomenon that every Saturday afternoon at the deli we get a huge crowd, most Saturday afternoons, and a lot of the same faces, some different ones. And the new ones really enjoy it. Now, what is it about? I'm still trying to find what it is about our band compared with other bands. It's so different.
Well, again, it comes back to the type of music that we're playing.
Oh well, good time. So.
Well, again, if you want to put a tag to it, it's a kind of a European style.
Close out the
trad.
program.